Alright guys, I have always wanted to make a video about some of the weirdest cards you can find on Asphalt Legends, like cards you have never seen before while playing on multiplayer, or those cards that do not appear on the card filters when you are scrolling through the garage. Unfortunately, there was one of those cards that I did not own myself, hence why finding a way to get some gameplay of said card for you all guys to watch on a video took a bit longer than expected. So today I will be showing you all guys the 4 forbidden cards from Asphalt Legends. With nothing else to add, let's get straight into it. First of all, I would like to clear out the fact that these cards are not exactly forbidden, but more like, can no longer be obtained on any way for the reasons I will explain, since those reasons are not exactly the same across all cases, despite I can already tell you all guys that licensing problems is a quite common cause for a card to completely disappear from the game, unless for those that already own it. Owning these cards is definitely a source of pride, proving that you were there at the time of these cards making their way into the game, and despite I own 3 out of the 4 cards I will show you in today's video, I am more than happy with what I have, despite I could have always had them all if I knew those cards would never ever arrive again. So let's get into them. The first card on the list is probably the most known one, I would dare to say. I am definitely talking about the Inferno Automobile Inferno, a Mexican supercar which had quite a ton of hype in regards to its arrival into the Asphalt franchise, since it was a huge source of pride for all the Mexican community as well as for many fans of its extremely aggressive design, which, well, I have to admit it's not my favorite, but since there are people who truly like it, I kind of respect it. This Inferno Automobile Inferno was added on the 2021 Fire and Lightning update through a special event between February and March, and it will never ever arrive again since then, unfortunately being completely delisted for all non-owners of the 2023 Half of Flames update, along a few other cards on this video. This basically meant that unless you had at least one single blueprint in your possession, even if you didn't unlock this card, just with the sole possession of a single blueprint would be enough for the card to show up in your garage. Obviously blocked if you didn't unlock it, but it would show up. If you did not have a single blueprint of this card, it would completely disappear from your game with no trace of it being left behind. In terms of performance, this Inferno Automobile Inferno is arguably one of the cards I enjoy the most driving, thanks to its decent acceleration, strong nitro durability, and comfortable handling. The drift radius of this car is a bit weird, being sometimes wider than I would like, while behaving perfectly fine other times. So I have to admit that, as I said, it's a bit curious, but in general this car is really solid, fairly good car to enjoy multiplayer with. The top speed is similar to the McLaren Speedtails. This is around 430 km per hour, so you can truly put up a decent fight against most of your rivals in Ghost and Classic multiplayer. Unfortunately, these days Legends League is completely dominated by way too powerful cars, but at least you can still have fun with this Inferno Automobile Inferno on MP2, as I do every now and then. It's a pity that this car is very likely to never ever arrive back into the game, since I heard that the licensing problems with the Inferno brand were quite severe, so this Inferno Automobile Inferno will remain as a legacy of a time when this game used to be quite different from what it is today. Next on the list we have the Masanti Evantra Malavali, one of those cars that made their way into Asphalt 9 Legends from the OG Asphalt 8 Airborne, where the Masanti brand was implemented way before. This car made its way into the game on the 2021 Italian season through a Legends Pass exclusive special event. Today we no longer have those kinds of Legends Pass exclusive special events, but I remember they used to be quite an absolute pain, given how you had to max the Legends Pass car in order to aim for the 100% event completion. Kids today have everything easier than us true OGs ever dreamed to have. Anyways, back to the Masanti. Once its special event ended, it made an appearance into at least one burst of speed special event before being completely delisted for all non-owners on the 2023 Half of Flame updates, along with the Inferno cards. And just like with the Inferno cards, a lack of understanding between Gameloft and the Masanti company caused the card to disappear from the game. I remember many people complaining about how could Gameloft include such a bad card into a burst of speed at the time, along with great cards like the Bugatti LBN or the Koenigsegg Chimera. Little did they know that the Masanti would eventually disappear for absolutely everyone, so in a way it ended up being the most valuable car from that burst of speed, since it will never come back again. When it comes to performance, the Masanti Evantra Malavali was repeatedly slashed for having a quite mid acceleration paired with not an insane top speed nor nitro durability, leave aside any kind of floating capabilities, which this car did not have at all. But if you put some effort, you can actually win some races with this Masanti as you would with any other car around this rank. Obviously, it will take you some extra effort, but I would not say it's a catastrophically bad car anyways. Next on the list, we have the Toroidion 1 Megawatt. This car, which appeared right on the next season following the debut of the Hennessy Venom F5, was added to the game on the September 2021 Electric Season update as a Legends Pass exclusive special event car, just like the Masanti which I have just mentioned basically. But you know what, the Toroidion company filed for bankruptcy in March 2022 and the car never returned to the game ever again, despite it's still listed on the garage and it had a brief appearance at an Asphalt China event quite some time ago, so I would say it's expected to be delisted at some point in the future, but not right now. Since the company went absolutely bankrupt, I guess that the circumstances surrounding the license agreement or renewal between Gameloft and whoever holds the rights might be on a grey area, meaning that the car is on the limbo. The main problem with this Toroidion is that many people did not go for it as it appeared right after the Hennessy Venom F5 first special event ever, which was a quite requiring special event that drained many people's capability to max a car coming right after the Venom F5. The best definition for this Toroidion is the better version of the Koenigsegg Regera, since it has the same top speed but quite nice floating capabilities, decent nitro and an average acceleration, which makes this Toroidion a great car in terms of overall performance, but not a king when compared to other cars within S-Class. I find it quite interesting to drive, despite I am not really skilled with the top S-Class cars, but it depends on each player, I guess. At last but not least, we have the car that I don't have and which took me the longest to get some gameplay with it, the Inferno Automobili Settimo Sergio. This concept car from the same brand that made the first car from this list was originally added on the 2022 Around the World update. The same where wildcards were firstly introduced into the game, by the way, through another Legends Pass exclusive special event, which I barely completed because I was allocating my resources into something else at that time, and I did not consider this Inferno Automobili Settimo Sergio worth going for, thinking that it would come back at some point later in the future. Well, guess what? I was completely wrong and the car ended up not coming back and being completely delisted for all non-owners on the 2023 Hall of Flames update, including myself. The Settimo Sergio has a quite decent acceleration and a top speed slightly slower than the Bugatti Chiron. However, the nitro efficiency felt really bad for me at the time, and that made me skip it in a way. For real, it's literally one of those things that I regret the most about my progression within this game, honestly. The car is quite floaty and the handling is not really bad, but up to this day, the nitro duration still feels quite weak to me. These days the car doesn't show up in the garage unless you have some blueprints of it, but the good thing is that for as long as you have any of these cards unlocked, you can theoretically max them out by using wildcards and epic wildcards, as well as the ultimate startup item, which, well, all of those methods are mostly paywall within the game, but still maxing out this card is somewhat feasible. But now it's your turn, guys. What do you think about all of these cards? Do you have any of those? Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section, drop your massive like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye.